They're excited now, but wait till the student loans come due. Today on Fox 11 News In Depth, the high cost of a higher education and the debt that can run over $100,000. We'll talk to one family who's been through the college picking process. We'll hear from experts on choosing the school that's right for you and ask college administrators, why does it cost so much? Fox 11 News In Depth starts right now. Hello, everyone. I'm Hal Eisner. To get a good job, you need a good education. We've all heard that one, right? But now college can mean years and years of debt. There's some people who want to help you with that. Lowering tuition, forgiving student loans, but no matter the cost, college hopefuls engage in that anxious ritual that happens every year, College Acceptance Day.
I'm opening my college acceptance letters.
I'm so scared.
I am literally terrified. Like, I don't even know if you can see, I'm like shaking. My heart is racing. Let's check.
It's an annual tradition, College Signing Day, learning whether you got accepted or rejected.
Oh, okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Emotions run high, and so will the cost. Tuition and fees at average private colleges, about $35,000. Elite schools like Stanford are even more, nearly $48,000. At University of California schools, it's about $14,000, but that doesn't include room and board.
But the fight is only beginning.
Many students are staging tuition protests, saying they can't afford it.
Los Angeles, thank you for coming out today.
Some of the Democrats for president, like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, are calling for public colleges to be tuition free. But even with costs going up and up, you can't stop this. Millions of young people dreaming of the college experience. Just this month, former First Lady Michelle Obama in Los Angeles for a College Signing Day event, encouraging teens to pursue higher education, happening on a day that included a lot of this. Wow. Lots of joy at the news they've been accepted. But then the bills start to mount up and the debt piles on. One of those voices wanting to lower the cost of college is State Assemblyman Miguel Santiago. He's pushing a bill to make the second year of community college free. He's joining us live from Sacramento. And I have to ask you, Assemblyman, this is AB 2, that's the name of the bill. What does it do?
So AB 2 builds on the first year of free community college that we did a couple of years ago. And what it says is if you've gone first time to a community college, we want to give you 2 years of free community college. And this is a game changer in education. At the national level, we've seen a conversation about debt-free college, tuition-free college. Here in California, we have the opportunity to do it right now.
You know, it's interesting. We have this going on, and then we have some of the most expensive public or state schools in the nation, UCLA, some of these other colleges that are in the UC and the California State University system. How do we square that?
So look, I think that we got to build in California the tools to make it debt-free. But let's talk a little bit more about AB 2 because there's a lot more than just making community colleges free. A great deal of the bill has to do about student success, making sure that a student is successful by providing the counselors that they need. But in there also, the campuses are required to have the student fill out the FAFSA form or the California DREAM Act form. And those are really the tools to help non-tuition costs. So when they go on to private school, the UC system or the CSU system, they have those financial tools to be able to get out of school less in debt. Now look, in a perfect world, and what we're aiming for it someday is to truly make California colleges for free. And this is one huge step, but it's the beginning of a long legislative journey over the next several years. But today we're standing here in front of AB 2 to make 2 years of free community college possible for every student in California.
Let me get a couple of short questions in here. Number one, those students who want to get free community college can now for 1 year. That's correct, right?
Correct. If it's first time, full time, they get it for 1 year. Correct.
And the second, this bill AB 2, which would give them the second year free, what do they have to do to qualify for that?
Well, simple. They just have to enter a community college if it's first time. They're going to get the first year, and they're going to get the second year. And we have a sense of urgency to get this done because the first cohorts of AB 19 students, our free community college bill, the first year, will be ending at this July. So we have a real sense of urgency to get AB 2 done so that that same group of students can continue a second year.
Okay, let me just
but right now, anybody can walk into community college.
Quick answer. When do you think this will pass, if it passes at all? And if it does have the votes, do you think it will succeed?
I think it will succeed, and we'll see a bill signing, I'm encouraged, this September.
All right, Assemblyman Miguel Santiago, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. So the question really is that we're asking today, is the high cost of college keeping some people from pursuing their dreams? The square caps, the flowing gowns, the music, and the diplomas, they're the things that say, I did it. I graduated from college. That's a good feeling that I know one person would really like to have, and that's Sam Herbert. Sam and his father, Joe, are here with us in studio right now. And like a lot of other families, they've been visiting colleges around the country so that Sam one day can be part of all of that. Glad to have you here. What's this been like for you, looking for a college?
It's been tough and terrific at the same time. It's been an enjoyable process. It's been confusing at times, trying to figure out where I'm going to be placed for the next 4 years, but I'm happy about it.
But what about you, Dad? I mean, what's it been like for you?
Let me set the table really briefly. I was in the military and I'm a lawyer, and so I'm a smart guy, and I found this college application process to be tremendously challenging. So much so that we had to hire an outfit, college-wise. I think somebody's coming on, and they helped a lot. And
so by having a counselor, this helped you to kind of cut through the weeds.
It's a full-time job to figure out the FAFSA, the applications, the Common Core, all the homework that he had just to get into college.
We're looking at pictures right now. There you are right there at the piano. We're looking at pictures from your trip. You went to some pretty big schools.
Yes.
You went to Boston. You looked at Yale, right? And a couple other places. Am I correct on that?
I did not look at Yale.
What did you look at?
When we were in Boston, I mean, there's so many colleges there, but we looked at, I applied to Emerson and Boston University there, but we walked through Harvard and...
Was money an issue for you?
Yes.
Yeah. So you went to those schools, but you couldn't afford those schools?
No. Yeah. No. Yeah.
So you ended up where?
I ended up at UCSB. I'm going to UCSB.
And why UCSB? Dad, why don't you answer that?
Because I feel like I hit the jackpot. You're right. The colleges, the private colleges, what he wants to do, be an acting conservatory, $70K a year, and that's a mortgage. And it's more than I wanted to bite off at my age, because I want to stop working someday, and I don't want to anchor him down with some debt.
And you're a single dad at this point?
Single dad. His mom is all part of this process as well, but UCSB, I'm a veteran, so I get a tuition break. So I'm pretty excited he's going there. He's going to get out of there debt-free, and it's just going to be a much better experience for him.
And so you want to be an actor and someday be in a big a blockbuster, right?
A big blockbuster. That would be awesome.
and so to go to college, this is something you feel you need. A lot of people don't need college.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's always, not for any career, of course, you need to go to medical school to be a doctor, but I mean, I feel like the college experience will help me, and being in a great program would help me.
And what is one tip that you might share with other people that are looking for colleges right now? You've been through this drill.
Looking for other colleges, it's really important no matter what the college is. It's just to make sure it's right for you. And I know that everyone's going to say that and tell you, oh, you make sure you can see yourself there. But that's the biggest thing about it.
All right. Well, congratulations on finding a college. Did you scream when you saw your
Thank you very
acceptance?
much.
Did you go, ah?
Yeah, I was in the middle of Chipotle with my friend, and
and you got the feeling, right?
Yes.
All right, Dad, Joe, thank you very much for being with us. And Sam, coming up, still ahead, we'll talk to administrators with some impressive titles like Associate Dean and Vice Chancellor to see what they think about the cost of college. And we'll also tell you about a well-known medical school that lowered tuition to absolutely zero after this. Here's something you don't hear very often. Your tuition has been paid. That's what medical students at NYU were told when school started last fall.
It was such a momentous occasion to begin with, that with the news of tuition free, I'm so honored to be a part of NYU at this time.
That helped students like Jen Park, who came to the United States from South Korea as a child. Now she's attending NYU, the School of Medicine there, for free. How about that? Joining me now, Jerry Lucido, USC Associate Dean of Strategic Enrollment Services, and Ryan Corner, a Vice Chancellor with the Los Angeles Community College District. Thanks for joining us. And wow, free. I like the sound of that, don't you?
Extraordinary gift.
NYU is a very unique situation, isn't it?
Yes, that's quite an unusual gift. That's an extraordinary gift of generosity. That's particularly when these gifts are given. They're not often given to scholarships and student support.
This was a gift that was given to the university for the sole purpose of paying for tuitions. And do you think we'll see more of those come in the future?
I certainly hope so, because we desperately need it. The costs are high. The students are enormously talented, and we need to invest more in student education.
We just heard from Assemblyman Santiago. He talked about AB2. That's totally affecting the community college districts around the state, the junior colleges. What's your feeling about this sort of bill?
Absolutely. We love the Promise programs, which are working nationally now. And Assemblymember Santiago was able to start our first year of free tuition last year, and we've seen a tremendous impact. We have a 24% increase in the students coming from LAUSD to our colleges, and most of those students are low-income students and first generation.
There's 9 colleges?
9 colleges.
And 200 and something thousand
230,000 students that we serve every year.
That's a population of a small city.
It is.
And so are a lot of those students going for free?
Yes, we found that our first year, about a third of our entering students are coming for free. And we do have our California Promise Grant, which is an aid program through the state of California. And a majority of our students do qualify for that program based on their income.
You know what's interesting is a lot of kids, if you presented them with the opportunity of going to a community college district school or USC, where they could go Trojans, right? They want to go to USC. But they can't afford to go to USC. They can afford to go to the community college. What do you tell kids like that?
Well, I'd like to say that we have an opportunity where students can get to USC through our community college system. A fair number of our students are geared towards transfer, and a lot of them are able to transfer to our Cal State system through a guaranteed transfer program, through our UCs, which definitely work with our honors programs, and a lot to USC.
You know, I got to ask you, you do a lot of research in this area, and we hear about the rising cost of college. And I have my own college kids. I know that it's very expensive. What does your research show about college?
Well, the college costs are rising. Students and families are contributing more to their own education. States have disinvested more recently in higher education, so the costs have gone up because the state support is lower. Of course, the states are wrestling with other issues like Medicare and like. So the costs are rising. What some of the data shows, though, and particularly related to the programs you were just talking about, is when students understand that they actually can, and that's the beauty of this program, that they actually can do it, they're more likely to come. This is even true at four-year schools who have sort of no loan kinds of programs for those who are in low income. But the trouble is the financial aid process is complicated and it's confusing.
Well, it's like Sam's dad was saying, it's complicated. You need somebody to help you do it.
Yeah, precisely. Yet the story may be far better than what the students and families hear in the press so often. They often hear about $100,000 worth of loan, when in fact the average student graduates from an undergraduate program with closer to $33,000.
Yeah, but you know, I know somebody in our newsroom right now. He's probably in his 40s, maybe just finishing up his college loan. It's like those things just never go away until you're like 40 or maybe 50, you know?
Well, I think Ryan and I would completely agree with you. Trying to live in LA on $15 an hour means you're sharing an apartment.
Yeah.
And so now try to add college costs on top of that. So it's more difficult these days, and it's part of the reality of individuals needing to pay more for college.
One of the things we know is that these prices go up, but they never come back down.
And I think that there's something else to that, which is that the aid doesn't go up at the same pace as the cost of education. We haven't seen dramatic increases in federal loan and federal aid programs that are free in the way that we've seen the costs of education go up.
Do you think it's an unfair criticism the college is too expensive?
I think there's some fairness in that criticism. I think there's a lot of things that drive up college costs, and that includes even the colleges competing with one another to have a better facility or a better lifestyle. And families, they desire that kind of thing, and colleges give it to them, and it drives up the cost.
The only thing I want to ask you is this, and we're short on time. Kids that go to school today, when they have kids, let's say 18, 20 years from now, how are their kids going to be able to afford to go to college? This stuff 18, 20, 25, 30 years from now could be really through the roof.
Ryan, you want to start? Go ahead.
We were just talking about this before we came on, and we both think that what it's going to require is a very big investment into public and private higher education.
And probably a change in public policy?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, seems so. I would like to say, though, that there's something out there called a net price calculator that people can go to their college, look for the net price calculator, and see what it exactly would cost them. And this considers family income and financial aid.
Takes everything into account.
Okay,
might folks.
Be a far better
the net cost.
Nice net cost calculator.
Okay, got that net cost calculator. Thank you both very much. Still ahead, we'll hear from an expert who specializes in matching students to the right college at the right price after this. Trying to decide what college to go to can be a real ordeal, but there is help out there. Joining me now is Allison Lepore of collegewise.com with some advice for frazzled families, and this is your area of expertise, so what do you tell folks?
Well, I tell folks to plan early. I think that families often restrict themselves by focusing on the biggest name brand schools and the names that they're most aware of, which are often not the schools that are providing money to families. And so looking more broadly means that you're able to have more flexibility and more choice around college options and also around cost.
When you get a family as a client, are they like a basket case?
Sometimes. It's a really stressful process. And I think for parents who applied to one school and then went there, you know, many of my parents say, I just applied to USC and then I went there and it was fine. There weren't all these short answers and additional applications. It can be really stressful and it's emotional.
Well, sometimes parents think that their kid could be a legacy.
Right.
And so because they went to a school, their kid can go to that school. It's not always the case.
Not always the case. I think the more selective the school, the less weight that carries because the school is very desirable. I think families are very focused on brand awareness.
And so take a school like UCLA or USC or a school like that that's got big brand awareness. For every student that doesn't go, there's a 4.0 student waiting in the wings?
Yeah, several of them. Yeah, absolutely. Those schools have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of very, very strong applicants who aren't being admitted.
That's amazing to me.
It's
amazing to me. But if it's true, as I pointed out earlier, I have 3 children in school, one getting her master's, 2 of them working on their bachelor's, one of them graduating from UCLA. But, you know, the cost of that has been like buying several expensive cars.
Yeah, a couple times.
A couple of times.
It's a lot. I think that when families focus more on what their fit means, and fit means academic, it means social, it also means financial, then they're going to give themselves the most flexibility to make an option that doesn't bankrupt the family.
All right, so the bottom line here is don't pick a great school because they have a great football team.
Right.
Pick a great school because
it's a good fit for you, because you can thrive there.
You can afford it?
Yeah, you can afford it. It's a good fit socially and a good fit academically.
And so when people go into this, I know we talked about that calculator that websites are supposed to have at colleges. It's a must now to have that thing.
Yeah.
But what do you tell them? I mean, let's give everybody a piece of advice.
I think having really open conversations about financial aid early is really important for families, and making sure that students know that this is an investment.
But is that sitting down saying, you know what, you may want to go to UCLA, but I can't afford it, so don't pick that school?
Yeah, that may be part of the conversation.
That's a hard conversation.
It's a hard conversation, but it's a harder conversation to have in April of senior year, when UCLA has said yes and the student has never heard it may not be affordable. That's way worse. And so put UCLA on the table, but also give yourself other options. There are 400 colleges. It's post May 1, which is the decision deadline. There are 400 colleges with space available still for students and money still to give. So when we limit ourselves to the names that we're most familiar with, we limit our options. There are lots of places that would roll out the red carpet and roll out lots of free money.
So the Pac-10, the top 10, all these great schools, but not necessarily the greatest school for you or your family.
Yeah, and not necessarily the most affordable.
All right, well, Bottom line is, if you can't seek it out yourself, perhaps something like a collegewise.com might be helpful then, I guess. Okay. All right, very good. We'll be back with a final word on the cost of college right after this. And if you haven't already, check out my podcast, What the Hell, on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you subscribe to podcasts. And we've added another episode to our special podcast series, Christopher Dorner, Badge of Dishonor, The Manhunt. Looks at the 10 days of terror the one-time cop unleashed on Southern California during his angry murder spree. I'm joined by Laura Diaz, Phil Schuman, and many others on this episode, and episode 1 as well, which is called The Manifesto. And I want to thank all of you for being with us. Jerry, let's start with you real quick. A final piece of advice for everybody.
Sure. We're blessed with amazing college opportunities here in the LA area. And what I would like to simply say is students should not limit their thinking about where to go to school simply because they think it may cost too much. Make sure you get your student aid award and be able to calculate what you may be paying in actuality.
Ryan?
I would say don't just think about where you want to go, but think about what you want to do, and make sure that the college you choose has the program that's going to get you to that dream.
Know what you want to be when you grow up.
Know what you want to be when you grow up.
Joe, what's your thought?
Fantastic advice. Trust the process. At the end, we had to hire somebody. We hired CollegeWise, and they did their job. And I trusted my son, and we had fun on the college visits.
And so now it's all good.
It's all, it's just time to sit back and watch him blossom and grow, and hopefully we'll get to see him at Christmas.
Yeah, you know what? It'll be fun watching you blossom and grow. What's your piece of advice for everybody?
Well, coming from my perspective, I think, everything's what you make of it, and college is what you make of it, and you should just be happy going to college and having that opportunity and pursuing higher education.
And someday maybe we'll see you in a movie, in a TV show, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah, hopefully tomorrow or the next day, too.
There you go. All right. All right, very good. Well, that's it for this week. What's the best school? Listen to what these guys have to say. Thanks for joining us. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.